Hi everyone, my name is Andiswa, a UCT medical student. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching one of my videos once again. And if you're here for the second time or the third time but you still haven't subscribed, please do the right thing and subscribe. And if you are new here, welcome. I hope you do stay and become a part of my journey as I become Dr. Andy. So on this channel, I post medical school vlogs and useful information that will help you navigate throughout your academic career, such as study tips. So if you're interested in that kind of content, please do make sure that you click the subscribe button below. If you are struggling with maths, either struggling to pass, struggling to get a distinction, or even better, you are getting a distinction but it's always around 80s and you want to know how to get your 90s, this is the video for you. I am going to be sharing with you maths study tips that I used throughout my high school that made me get a level 7 in maths from term 1 in grade 8 up until term 4 grade 12. Yep, you heard me right. Level 7 was the only level I got for maths in high school, and I am here to share with you practical examples on how I did that. And also, I know that right now most of you guys are going to be writing your trial exams. I think this video is going to be useful for you because these are the exact tips that helped me to get a 95% in maths for my trial exams. So if you are here for that, please do take a pen and a paper because this is going to be content heavy, and make sure that you watch the whole video so that you do not miss anything. So I'm going to summarize this in 15 simple steps. Number 1, do not copy your teacher's calculations. When your teacher is solving a problem on the board, make sure you pay your full attention on the steps they are following and the formulas they are using and how and why they are using the formula to solve that problem, so that you understand when you come across a similar question, you are able to solve it. Instead of copying exactly what your teacher is writing on the board and going back home and read the exact thing without you understanding, focus on understanding the concept. For example, if your teacher is written in the board 2 to the power 5 times 2 to the power 7 is equals to 2 to the power 12. If you copy that on your book and you go read it at home, you wouldn't understand how we got the 12. Instead, copy the x to the power a times x to the power b is equals to x to the power a plus b. In that sense, you are able to solve each and every question that applies to this formula that you come across, no matter the number. Number 2, for every question that you come across, find a way on how you can make the question simpler. For an example, you don't find it hard to solve this kind of question, but when it comes to this question, you are confused on what to do. You simply don't know what to do. And that is not the problem. You do know what to do, but you didn't make the question simpler for yourself. There's this one concept that teachers from the early grades up until matric always emphasize. In whatever grade you go to, whether it's grade 8 or grade 11, they will emphasize the same concept, and that concept is taking out the common factor. I cannot stress this enough. This can save your whole entire life. When you come across an equation, whether you're solving x or whether it's inequalities, make sure you take out the common factor. So let's get back to this example. So you see how the example looks so complex compared to this one? You need to think, how can I make this turn into that? Because this is what I can solve. This, I have no idea what's going on. Number 1, you need to see which one is the common factor. And this is where your division, your multiplication skills apply. That is why it is important for you to know your basics, your times table that you've been singing since grade 3. This is where it applies right now. You're gonna say 2 divided by every coefficient that you're seeing there, or every number rather, whatever you prefer to call it, or whatever, however you factor out their common factor, and it's going to give you this equation. Spot the difference. None. Very simple. But if you do not think about simplifying your question, you will obviously leave this question out, or you will do something wrong, or something that will take you so long to solve the question. But you could have just saved time, and you saved yourself stress by just making the question simple. Let's use the second example, exponents. You know how to solve x in this equation. Very, very simple. But now they give you something like this. And now you start to scratch your head. What is going on? I have no idea what is going on. You do have an idea what is going on, but you cannot think. Maths is only hard at the beginning. It is always the first step that you have to take that is hard. The rest of the question is literally just playing with the numbers. You have to be able to think from the get-go, what is my first move? And most of the time, people get it wrong from the first move. That's why you will always get wrong answers and follow the wrong steps. So let's go back to this kind of equation. So if you know your exponents, again guys, know your basics. If you do not know that 5 to the power 2 is equals to 25, you wouldn't be able to solve this. So now let's find a way to simplify this equation. So now you have something looking like this. Now it takes us back to the rules that your teacher writes on the board that you ignore and run to the example that they do. So the rule is a to the power x is equals to a to the power y. It means that x is equals to y. Sounds very simple. And what do we have here? We have 5 being common, 5 being our a, which means the exponents on the right hand side are equal to the exponents on the left hand side, and boom, you have a simple equation, the one you are able to solve. Guys, it starts there. If you have any kind of question, either it's a series of numbers, an equation, inequalities, try to make sure that you make your question simpler for you before you attempt it. Number 3, write down all your common errors, all your common mistakes. That is one thing that makes people lose so many marks in maths, because you are making stupid mistakes. For example, if in this equation you thought you're just gonna divide with 5 and get 1 to the power 3x plus 2 is equals to 5 to the power x minus 1, completely wrong. Write that down. Those are the mistakes that trip you in the exam. Make sure you write them down so that you do not ever repeat them again. Number 4, I've said this on my other video. If you are still failing to solve a grade 12 problem, go back and attempt a grade 11 problem. And if that one is hard for you too, take a grade 10 textbook and learn from it, because most of the time the reason why you do not understand literally anything in grade 12 is because you do not have the basics. Maths is a continuous subject. Whatever they teach you in grade 10, it's still going to be relevant for you in grade 12. Therefore, you need to make sure that whatever you learned in grade 10, you at least understand the basics so that you can carry over to the next grades. Number 5, always write down all the problems that you struggled with. Have a book where you write all the hard problems down and see if these problems are from the same topic or it is literally different topics. Are you struggling with one topic? Is it always number patterns that are the hardest problems you're struggling to solve, or it is functions, number patterns, financial maths? Then you know how much help you need or how much work you still need to do. And after you've documented all your hard questions, you do step 4. Go back to your basics. And after you feel like, okay, I think I got my basics right, go back to those problems that you found hard and attempt them again. And if you think, or if you see that you're still struggling, you still don't understand, then you take the next step of asking your teacher. Guys, make use of your teachers. They're there to help you. If you do not understand something, please go to your teacher. Go fetch them from the staff room. They knew me at the staff room. Literally, that was my second classroom, because if I do not understand, I am there the whole break time asking questions. Study tips 6 and 7 are one of the life-saving tips. If you are a failing student or you are struggling to get that distinction, I promise you study tips 6 and 7 is going to save your life. So do pay attention. So number 6, make sure that for every kind of topic, you write down all those little formulas. By formulas, I'm not talking about the formulas that you get on your exam at the back of your question paper. I mean these kind of formulas that we use for our previous example. For an example, if you are getting a question that has exponents, you simply take out all of your formulas and put them on your paper before you attempt your question, and check step by step which one of the formulas are gonna apply for my problem or to my problem, or which ones are going to help me to solve this problem. Number 7, stop using complicated ways to solve questions, especially if there is a simple way. If you are struggling with taking out common factors, opening brackets, finding multiples, dividing, subtracting, finding which positive sign, which negative sign applies, simply leave this alone and use a formula. In this way, you do not have to even think about factorizing, taking out common factors, finding which sign applies on each bracket. Number 8, for you to understand maths and master each and everything that you are learning or each and every step that you are doing, make sure that when you calculate, next to your calculation, give a reason why you did that. If you are going to take 2 out of the bracket, right, okay, I took 2 out because it is a common factor. It will help you because now you are training your brain that every time we are doing this, we have to have a reason why. Because sometimes you are going to be solving these questions and you realize that you've been just getting lucky for getting answers right, or you simply just don't think why you are doing this, but because you've seen it in an example or in a textbook that it is done this way, and you do exactly the same thing, only to realize that those questions are completely different. So in whatever question that you attempt, each and every step, you should have a reason. It doesn't matter which topic. You should have a reason why you put that square root there, why you said that x is equals to this number, so that your brain is being trained to think about it and you are able to apply your formulas and rules to the calculation. So geometry is one of the hard topics most people tend to struggle with or avoid, and for me, I can tell you it is not that complicated. You just need to know your rules. You just need to know your shapes. For an example, if they're giving you a question and they'll be like, okay, shape A, B, C, D is a parallelogram or is a rhombus. If you do not know the properties of a rhombus, you won't know what is going on. Because by them telling you that this is a rhombus, they are trying to tell you that, okay, this side is equals to this side, or this side is parallel to this side. But if you do not know your shapes, you won't be able to attempt that question. That brings us to study tip number 9. Know your shapes. I know you're going to be like, this is simple, this is grade 5 work, but know your shapes and know your properties. Another thing, know your rules. It is the same thing I've been telling you, that know your formulas and how they apply. Know what they mean if they say alternate angles. Know what they mean if they say corresponding angles. Know all of that rules, and make sure that when you get a question, listen, this is the tip that I used, and this is the tip that made me get 149 out of 150 for my trial paper 2 in maths, because I used this tip. So when you find your geometry question and you see it's a lot of circles, a lot of shapes, a lot is going on, take your highlighter. I used to come with a highlighter in my exams. Take your highlighter and think about what you know. Forget about the question. Think about what you know. Identify your parallel lines. Identify the angles that they've given you, the values, and make sure, okay, am I seeing corresponding angles? Okay, am I seeing alternating angles? Am I seeing co-interior? Am I seeing all of those stuff that you know that they're in your head? Write them down. Label your diagram or whatsoever. And after you feel like, okay, you know what? I am done. I've proved anything that I could possibly prove from this question. Go back and read the question. You will see how simple it is to solve. Number 10, I've said this before. Do the hard topics. Please do not leave out any topic if you want to get a distinction. If you feel like financial maths is hard for you, go and study that topic. Do not estimate that, okay, this question is only 25 marks in the exam, therefore I'm going to master the 125 so that I can compensate the 25 that I am sacrificing. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. Every time you go to your exam room, you have 100%. You have 150 over 150. As soon as you put your pen on that paper, that is when you start minusing your marks. And it is up to you whether you come out with the 150 or you come out with a 60 out of 150. Number 11. This is one tip that I will never miss out in every study tips video that I'm going to share with you. Just know, question papers, do past papers. It is very, very important. And when it comes to maths, you just get to practice a lot more, and you just get to train yourself and your mind what questions you should expect. If you can take a look at all the past papers for maths, all the questions are similar. I promise you, when you open the paper, they're going to ask you to solve X. There's going to be a quadratic equation. There's going to be an inequality. There's going to be an exponential equation. And then you go following, it is number pattern. You're going to be asked to solve a number pattern problem. So you are literally getting a scope. You are literally getting a scope. They are definitely going to ask you to find the gradient of this graph, to find an asymptote of this graph, to find the point Y, coordinates of point Y. You need to know what they are going to ask you, and you will never know if you are not doing past papers. So I've linked a link on my description box with past papers, including past papers from provinces that you can use to practice. So if you need past papers, do use the link on my description box. And on my physical sciences study tip video, I've shared this app called High Physics. There's also an app called High Maths that you can use to find or to source past papers. They work out the questions. They do not just give you a simple memo, they work out the question like in a sort of a video or a sequence like that you can follow in case you want more past papers. Number 12, you have to have an effective study plan. You have to have a timetable. You have to have a revision timetable. You know yourself well that these are the kind of topics that I struggle with. Make sure that you practice those topics frequently. Personally, I practice maths every day. Whether I was getting a distinction or not, I made sure that I do not sleep or a day doesn't pass by without me solving a maths problem. And do that. Find a workbook or a textbook and attempt your maths problems. You can do that also when you're writing your homeworks, and that is another tip that I've shared before as well, that when you are doing your homeworks, use that as your study or your learning time. Practice. There's no other better tip that I will tell you other than practice. Unfortunately, maths is not a thing that you need to memorize or read and understand. You need to have an experience by practicing. I'm going to be sharing with you very good textbooks or workbooks you can use in your matric, or if you're in grade 10 or grade 11, you can just use the same brand, that the textbooks that worked for me while I was in matric, and it is this maths handbook. I know maybe you guys or most of you know it. It is really good. You can get it from CNA or any other bookstore, I'm sure. And this workbook, I couldn't find the one for mathematics, like a photo for the one for mathematics, hence this one's written maths literacy, but just use the same brand. And last but not least, be patient with yourself. It's not going to be easy. It is a process. You need to put effort on daily basis. You need to work on maths. Is a subject that you work on daily, especially if you are struggling. You can't solve a calculation today and then you're gonna solve it again next Tuesday. Every day you need to make sure that you work on your skills, you work on your thinking. So be patient with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Do not give up on the subject just because you've been failing it. Maths is one subject that you can improve yourself and you can definitely get better, because there's nothing much to memorize. You just need the skill and the experience. And we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching up until this far. If you have exams coming up, I wish you all the best. Or if you are still in high school and studying, I wish you all the best. I am rooting for you. I'll be so excited to see you guys get those distinctions. If you found this video very helpful, please don't forget to like, and most importantly, please share with people who might need it, your friends, your classmates. And last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe. That is it from me. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.